Hello, I'm Dan from Edimo Electric Bikes, and that bike that we've just seen over there is the new Superdelite 5 from Riese Muller. We're at the Eurobike show here in Frankfurt, and they've released this new bike, dual battery with a Bosch system, and I'm just going to do a really fast overview and run through some of the details that are available. There's not much available, it's not available to test, it's not out on the test track, so I can't do a full review. When it does become available, probably around about October, then obviously we'll give you a very, very detailed rundown of everything that's there. So let's start at the front of the bike and just have a look around and see what we've got. So what we're seeing as we go to the new Superdelite 5 is that as standard we're going to be getting the the Fox suspension on this. So this is a new front fork that we've got on here. I think we've got the same rear shock that's on here, but the new front fork is standard now on the bike, so all Superdelite 5s are going to have Fox suspension. It's got 120mm travel on it compared to what used to be 140mm, and on the back I think it's something about like 45mm. Obviously that's a travel on this part of the suspension, but you get more travel when the wheel starts moving up and down on the end of the swing arm. This bike is fitted with then the Bosch ABS, so that's one of the options you can have on it. Huge discs, nice thick discs as well, so they're not going to walk. Before I go up to that part, let's have a look at the tyres. So we've got Johnny Watts tyres, but we've moved on to the 365 version of it. So this is the newer version that's come out. We've seen some of our customers have already been fitting these on theirs. They're really nice tyres. They've got quite a good sort of aggressive tread that's on there as well. So we're looking forward to having those. Mud guards. So these are all new mud guards. These are aluminium mud guards, super strong, so they're not going to break. Some of the old mud guards we used to have, the classic was that you take your front wheel out, you pop it in the boot of the car, and you manage to snap this. So we've got some aluminium mud guards on there, which is pretty nice. I'm glad to say they've kept the rack on these two mounts on the front here, so this is a really popular option for everybody. And we're still working with this Supernova Mini M99 Mini, or this is a Pro 25 it says actually, but this is a main beam and dipped light, so that's a really nice option. Moving up to the brakes, obviously we're running Magura on this one, with ABS as well, and in these levers there'll be a switch, so we have got a brake light then that's off the back of there. Now the new brake light that is fitted on the bike is slightly different to the old one in that here it is, and there's two little lights and there's a nice light around the outside. It does a couple of different things. So when you brake, it will obviously give you a brake light, but if you brake hard it will give you a flash as well that goes with it, so you can see the rapid deceleration for everybody behind. Moving up a little bit further and looking at the handlebars, what Riese Muller have done now is they've put on the Purion 200 as a standard and then given you the Kiox 500. So we've gone for top spec kit on here straight away. Obviously, if the Kiox 500 is not the one that you want and you'd rather have the smartphone grip, that is now an option that you can get from Riese Muller where it wasn't before. It's very easy fit afterwards, but you can now buy that from the factory with the smartphone grip. Another nice feature, so as well as the suspension, we're getting a standard on this one. This lever here is drop a seat post, so we've got this Fusion Manic seat post that is on here. This is the one that they've always used for their drop a seat post. They call it a lowerable saddle. Allows you to raise and lower the height of the saddle whilst you're sitting on the bike, so that you can stop at the lights and put your feet down, or you can get a more comfortable ride as you're going. That is now going to be fitted as standard on this bike. Moving across and looking at the other side of the handlebars, now this bit is really interesting. This bike is equipped with the roll-off E14 on it, but we can see under the handlebars here we've actually got a trigger shift. So one of the bugbears of the roll-off system has been that the buttons up the top here to change gear, little electronic shifters, always seem to be in the wrong place for your thumb. This is a superb solution. Nice little trigger shifters underneath. I'm really looking forward to having a go with those, so that's going to make a good big change to the bike. Obviously the bell, a nice oi bell, makes a lovely long ringing noise. Okay, so coming back, looking at the main part of the frame, so it's coming in one colour. The colour is called Moss. And Moss it looks like almost a pearlescent colour. It's a powder coated paint, but it almost looks metallic-y. It's a green for sure. The frame itself is aluminium. It's been made in a factory in Portugal. It uses 34% minimum of recycled aluminium. And when you look at the way that the frame's been built, at the front here we've got a gravity cast front end to it, and then were welded onto these extrusions and tubes down this way, and all the welds have been ground so it looks like it's one smooth piece. So it's a really, really nice design frame that they've gone for. The other thing they've done is they standardized the frame sizes across the Superdelite 5, the Delite 5 and the Homage 5. So we've now got a 47, a 51 and a 56 centimetre frame, 3 different frame sizes, and across the 2-3 bikes that are out there, pretty much standard, you know, rider sizes. So we haven't got this complication that's going on, so it makes my life an awful lot easier. Now, the really big thing that you'll notice about this bike, it's a Superdelite, which means it's going to be a dual battery bike. So we've got a battery down here in the down tube, and then we've got another one up here in the top tube. And there's this really cool sort of fabric case that the battery fits into. You can see the terminals in the end there. And I think that's a fidlock catch on the bottom there to hold it in place. Now, reading the details that are on the plate down here, it says that this is a 1,200 watt-hour bike. Now, in my head, I'm trying to do the sums. I know that Bosch make a 750 watt-hour battery. I know that's going to be a 400 watt-hour battery. That's got to be an 800. So there's questions to be asked. This bike isn't available to October, so that maybe there's something new coming out. In the bottom here, we've got a Bosch Performance Line CX motor. So we're talking about 85 Newton meters of torque, peak power of 600 watts, and a nominal power of 250 watts. This bike, I assume, is available as a high-speed bike as well, but the one that we're looking at, I think, is a standard pedelec. So this is UK legal, 25 kilometers an hour, 15.5 mile an hour. So this is a really, really nice solution for commuting. Pricing-wise on it, I haven't got that confirmed. That will come later on. But it's going to be similar to the bikes that we've got out there at the moment. Moving back a bit on the frame, so this is the rear end. So this rear swing arm that we've got here now has all been completely redesigned for the new Superdelite 5. They've done something with the bearings in here. They've made them more robust, done something. Don't ask me, I'm not incredibly technical, so I'm not going to know exactly what that is, but I can see a few nice things. There's a little catch just here, I don't know if you can see that, which releases the spring that holds the pre-tensioner for the belt. So when we were changing changing wheels out or tyres out before, it was a real problem getting this on and off, and rehooking that spring that was really difficult. They've added this really fancy little lever now, which I'm assuming just takes the pressure off the spring so we can drop all that rear end out. We've got a cafe style lock, so this is probably an ABBA shield lock that we've got in here, but now it's been integrated into the frame, and this is really cool. You can see the engineering work that they've done to get that fitted in there. Moving down the back here, one thing they've done away with. Now, we previously used to have sliders in here, so I don't know if you remember, there used to be a couple of bolts on the frame here and a slider that held out, and then we can sort of pull the wheel in and out to get the tension on it. They've done away with that. We've got one straight through axle bolt on here, which is interesting because on a roll-off it always used to be a quick release. Yeah, so we've got some sort of through axle that's on there now, and it gets this really nice sort of clean lines and everything going on, so that's looking pretty fancy. This bike is obviously fitted with the roll-off E14 gearbox, so this is a 540% range of gears in this gearbox. It's an electronic shift, it's oil filled. I don't know if you can see this little grub screw up here, that's where we change the oil every, I can't remember now, I think it's 3,000 or 5,000 miles or 12 months. Really simple home job, you can do that in the workshop for you. And the other options that are going to come on it, chain a cassette. So we're going to have on here a Shimano Q's 11 speed and probably an 1150 cassette that's going to go on the back there. So if that's the version you want to go to, that would be the entry level version. And then they're still doing the Embiolo hub version of it. So 3 different specifications that you can get of this bike. With a Superdelite and the Delites, one of the really nice sort of standout features are these racks that they have on them. So these racks are mounted straight onto the frame, so all of the load of your panniers and everything that you're carrying are mounted onto that the frame there, rather than sitting straight onto the rear swing arm of the bike. That means your rear wheel can now move freely, and when you're traveling along hitting all the potholes and everything, that wheel's able to go in and out the holes and keep you pinned to the floor the whole time. So really nice feature, and they've always had this for the Delites and Superdelites. They've just updated it slightly, so you can see it's multiple pieces now, and it's just got more shape to it. It looks a bit fancier, but essentially it's going to do exactly the same thing. Other interesting stuff, Ergon saddle, very comfy. That I think they used to supply a physics saddle on some of these, which I really didn't like, so it's nice to see the Ergon saddle. And they're also putting on these, I think they're called a GS20 grip that's coming on that as well. I'm having a look at it. I don't know if I mentioned this, I probably did, so I'll have to edit out afterwards, but this cover. So when we've looked at Delites, anything that Riese Muller make, they always put a rubberized battery cover that sits on it, so the battery is sort of almost exposed here. They've changed that now, and they've actually made a cover that's going to be removed, and then your battery's inside. The nice thing about that is everybody wanted to buy the transport cover, because when they put it on the car, they took the batteries out, made it lighter, but they didn't want all the dirt to get in there. With this cover that we've got on here now, that can just be used instead, so you can drop your battery out and you can put your cover in. So that probably is everything on the new Superdelite 5. This one is a GT roll-off from Riese Muller, due to arrive I think around about January time into the showroom as a test bike, available to customers from February, and I think it's going to be a release to the world around about October, so that's when we'll be taking orders for it. If you'd like to know any more about this bike or any of the Riese Muller bikes in the range, then you know where we are. We're at edimo.bike. Pick up the phone, get on the email, whatever it's going to be, give us a call, and we'll get you all the information that you need about these fantastic new bikes from Riese Muller.